Hey guys, how are you? Now I have promised you to discuss about loops today, but since for you cannot understand loop before I discussed if-else statement, so for this I will discuss basic calculations of Fortran, and then I will discuss that my today's discussion will be if-else statement. Now after that if-else statement, some calculations I will do, and then I will discuss about loops. All right. Now let's start with the questions that I'm writing it. Writing as equations, which is I have said earlier what what can C do? C mean line neglect, line ignore. So I can write, I will write ax square minus of c, and this is my equations, and I have given a is equals to 2, b is equals to 5, and c is equals to 4.48. all right. Now let us first for beginning I have to write okay, I have to find x. So how can this formula solve? Now first open your notebook, exercise book, and how can this formula solve? First I have to write the quadratic formula. Now my quadratic formula, I will write this. After that I will do for Fortran functioning. First let me write the quadratic formula. Okay, here sqrt means square root of. All right. Now I'm writing two equations separately. You know the the quadratic formula, which is x is equals to minus of b plus minus of root of b square minus 4ac, right? And here I have minus of b and minus of c, so that's why I'm writing this, and I am separating plus minus in two separate solution. So here my first solution will be a1 and second solution will be a2. All right, and double star means here square. All right, plus of 4ac ac. Let me check the brackets first. Alright, I have checked my bracket. Now it's time to write 2 into a, and my second equation will be I have minus of, this will be my second equation. All right, I'm writing it 2. Now here I have discussed in my previous discussion, I have done a mistake here. Can you remember that I cannot, this is not allowed to write any program before this line. So I have to write in within those two lines. So I'm pressing tab here. Now it's time to write the Fortran actual program. Those were just my solutions. Let me introduce read comment here, so I can put any values of a, b, and c wherever I want. So let me introduce read. First I have to write real in that case. Real of a, b, and c. All right. Now Will write whether with it without it I cannot understand what I have to write. Let me put the values of A, B, and C alone, that I can understand which values I want to put. Basically, I do this way. So that's why that's because I don't want to get confused what values I have to put when time is short. So you can put all the inputs together, so that's why your time will get some time will get saved. Let me write here individually. Doesn't matter double inverted comma or single inverted comma, but what you have did earlier, you have started with earlier, you have to close with that. So if I have start with double inverted comma, I have to close with double inverted comma 2, and if I started with single inverted comma, I have to close with single inverted comma 2. All right. Right, I have to write my all. I have input my all three values. So after that, I my statement is this. After that, my statement will be these two, and these two can be either floating or integer. So that's why I have writing it as a1 here and e2. It can be float or integer, so that's why I'm writing it here. And if I say that my all values are integer, so here I have to write integer in place of real. All right, now my answer will be w. Answer is let me separate the answers too. So that's why the first answer, the E1. E1 is all right. You know why I have to write pause statement for force. You have if you want to your outputs stay, so that's why you have to put a pause statement. That's how your output will stay. And these all my programs. Well, it's taking time. here first. So I have my question: A is 2, B is 5, and C is 4.48, right? Here you can see A1 is 3.2 something, and A2 is minus of 0.7 something. All right. Okay, guys, this was a question for quadratic formula. This was the answer for quadratic formula. Now I will start with if-else statement, doing some basic if-else statement. For basic, I'm now I'm introducing my questions, which is let me write my question first. So you will get understand. Let me three number Q and R of, let my three number, which will be P, Q, and R. All right. Okay, let me say P is equals to let 5 point some 5 by 3. Q is equals to some root of 3. Divided by 2. All right. And R is equals to 1.1 to the power 5. 1.1 you have to by if-else statement you have to check which one is greater and which one is less. Let me first write real, since I cannot say this will be integer or floating, and then you can say that 1.1 is a floating number, float number. So you have to at least put R in real part, real. I will do in these three with these three elements. So Q, my Q will be I'm doing 3.0. It's because whenever I am dividing or squaring, it cannot for real case it cannot actually understand it is integer or floating, and if it will be integer, then after I will divide with its floating number, it the result will be 0. So that's why it's better to from very beginning I am writing it with floating number. 0.5, right? 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. Now P is equals to 5.5. And R is equals to 1.1 to the power 5.0. Sorry, 5.0. Right now, let me write it my bracket here. All right. Now I'm introducing with my if-else statement. Let me first write my first if statement, which is if p greater than sign p greater than and p greater than sorry p greater than r. All right, then if you write the statement here, then write the output here, then you don't have to put then statement here, or otherwise if you write the right statement in next line, so then you have to put then here. Now I'm doing right in next line, so I'm putting here then. P is largest. And my next statement will be else if, right? Q greater than P and Q greater than R. Then, all right. Q is largest. And my next statement will be, and you don't have to write the statement here, just write else. That will means that means otherwise you will get R is largest, right? Well, it's a common that if common sense that if P is not largest, Q is not largest, that means I have only R is my largest. All right. Now I have to write end if in the if else statement here. Now I have calculated a right statement now, and it's time to write the smallest statements. All right, this will be similar, and I hope you can all doing it. You can all do it, but let me do it. It's so easy. It will be similar process. Just here you have to write smaller than, less than, which will be LE or LT, which one you like. Right here LE. P is less than Q, P is less than R. That means P is smallest, right? Alright, Q here. Here I have to change greater and less than. And at last, what I have to write, it will be pause my output. If you don't want, don't write stop, but you have to write end statement, end at the last. Compiling, and then if I write my read code here, then output wants from me values. Says since I have already discussed that if I write my read code here, P, Q, and R will be considered as a box, and at output I have to put the values at that box, and that's then it will show the outputs. All right. And since you all know how to do it, and if you don't know how to do it, just just watch my previous videos, and then you will get understand. Is all my if else statement for today. The next and complicated part I will be discussed at my next video. Okay guys, this time's to say goodbye to you, and saying this boring thing again, don't forget to subscribe, and if this video was helpful for you, give me a thumbs up, and if you have any type of question, don't forget to comment, and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. See you again. Bye bye.